How do you feel about what's happened? You know, you've had a very unique UFC career. How do you feel about it to this point?
Nobody's like that. Nobody's doing what I'm doing, which is cool. And it's an honor to be able to have seen from Fuel TV to Spike to, like to, what the was that, Fox, to ESPN to Disney, to now the UFC doing their own thing, seeing behind the scenes, being there left and right, and then pulling through with pandemic, losing my belt and then gaining it. And there's like all this ups and downs. At least it hasn't been left or right. I signed up with the UFC with the intent to be able to be a CEO one day, like to be able to have like a part of the company as an owner. Because when you show that much loyalty, something like that, you don't expect it. You earn it. And you earn something like that by working hard. You're putting the hay in the barn before you go out, in the winter time, everybody's still struggling to get everything going, but you're already prepared. And I've done that so many times, baling hay and doing all these little jobs where I knew that I didn't want to do that forever. I want to be able to do that and to enjoy it. But this has been not even a bumpy ride. It's been life, which I'm very cool with. Started at the mailroom to where I'm at now. So it's dope.
That was a goal of yours from the very beginning, was to get a piece of the UFC company.
It wasn't a piece of it. It was just to be a big part of it. And I remember watching UFC 1 with my pops, and I remember him in a tough man contest. And just, I've always wanted to be a fighter, and not saying I could tell the future and stuff, but I'm pretty good with, just understanding things and played enough sports and knowing where the plays are going to go. That way I have an understanding of what I have to do to get to where I need to go. And I'm going to be real, yeah. I've always had these big hopes and dreams, and then seeing the mansion and being there, I walked right out and said, I'm home. And if I didn't have that visualization and living in it, I would not expect myself to have to be able to want something that grand. It doesn't have to be a mansion, but the living into there, it's, do you want something like this? Or yeah, I want something as grand. And it doesn't have to be monetarily or an object, but the point of living like that. And I told my wife, I was like, we can go two ways. We can be loud and obnoxious and make a whole bunch of money and just kind of not be hated, but be people weird with all these cameras and kind of just hiding. Or we can be humble and be super chill, and people will be more respectful towards us. And I knew that already because my dad had taught me that when I was little. He's like, you make a lot of noise, you know you're going to get a lot of noise. But you work really hard and you do this the right way. Mom was the same way. You work your ass off, and that way you don't quit. The same thing you've always done.
At this point in your career, what do you think you are to the company? Like there's prospects and there's contenders, there's champions, and then there's guys that what do you think your value is to the company
I'm gonna
UFC?
see this off. I'm the chief security officer. I make sure that flies. When they know that, and when Trump was calling Dana, I love saying this. When Trump was calling Dana, and Dana was calling me to get sports back on in the world. Even before that, I made that weight. It wasn't for anybody. And the funny thing was, is I really didn't share this too many people, is I had a bunch of potato chips and snacks because I bought that because after Khabib left, I was like, I'm just gonna eat stress eat. And I said, it, I'm gonna make weight. But then on that Sunday, I said, I'm gonna make it harder for myself. I've always made things really hard for myself when I've always got really stressed out. It's kind of like really self-defeating kind of but it always made me like more humble. And I almost died, bro. It was fucking the most craziest shit on Thursday night. And I got to like 183 and a half, and I cut to 155 in 4 days. Like yeah, 3.5, 4 days. And that point, I never take knees in practice. I don't ever take a knee. The air is up. And that night, I took a knee. And God was like, you're going to chill a little bit. He's like, you're getting too much up there. You're going to chill the out. And I took that. And I ended up making weight that morning. So it meant a lot to me, which was pretty hard. But I've gotten to the point where um, I don't want to make it that hard anymore. It's pretty crazy.
You're talking about the cut where for the actual fight, or the cut for the just to put it on social media, like I still made weight.
No, it was for me. It wasn't for anybody. But what I did was I recorded. I didn't know it was going to be the only thing on ESPN. It was the only sport thing that was on ESPN that whole day. I don't think that's ever happened in the world. From the paper people in the to whatever. No, this was the very first thing. and it gave people some sort of hope or inspiration, whatever the it did. That wasn't my intention. My intention was to give myself hope, because I had put so much time and energy into whatever that was, preparing for whoever it was. It was to let it go, be done with it. And I recorded it, and then it went on. It was cool as shit. Everybody reached out and they were like, hey, you know, are you going to do this? You going to do this? I did it. You know, I got to meet a cool friend, you know, which is super dope. And I didn't think anything of it was showing toughness or strength, because I've always made weight. Not one time have I ever missed weight. I missed weight maybe one time in like middle school, high school. And that was it. Because to me, it was just a big deal just to show up and do your work.
I know you have a lot of pride with to get fights back on during the pandemic,
Huh.
but do you almost feel like you made a sacrifice that, like, because nothing's been the same for you since then? Is there a feeling like that you sacrificed something to get sports back on?
I play chess a lot with myself too. Just kind of flip the board and kind of keep playing. Yeah, because then what you're doing is you're your own challenger. If you know that nobody's up to par with you, you don't. I had to learn this again. You don't put yourself to everybody else's level. My experience has gotten me through a lot. I put it that way. And so when the pandemic hit, it was nothing. When Dana actually called me up, I forwarded his ass to voicemail because I was out skateboarding with my cousin. And because he knew already. I was like, no. My cousin's like, aren't you going to answer that? I was like, no. He knows I'm going to say yes. And it's making sure that you do stuff to just do stuff. Like it becomes an automatic, you know? Like, I don't know. I got big shoulders. I got wings. So.
What other ways do you think over the course of your career do you think you've made it harder on yourself? When you said that sometimes you have a tendency to do that?
Oh, I think that during the pandemic, with Oliveira, I didn't practice. I practiced maybe jiu-jitsu like half the time. I just took all these opportunities just to stay competitive, to get Khabib, lure him in, so he would think that I wasn't as tough. I call it sandbagging. And in ultimate reality, I've been sandbagging for almost 20 fights. Like putting everything in it that I possibly could. This fight, this camp, I have put an endless amount of effort into, and I could still do more. And I'm like 39 years old and everybody calls me washed up. I'm like, yeah, I'm damn straight. I'm cleaned up, bitch. Washed up to me means I shed everything. You know, I got a sports psych, which is cool as He said the same thing. One of my trainers, one of my guys, I close my distance between people. There's no more hugs for everybody. There's no more brother this and everything that. No, it's my close circle. It's my wife, my kids, and my team. And if everybody else can't accept that, then them. They don't belong here. As I had Chief explain it to me in some things, and I had to not say bye. I had to set it aside for a second, because that will be there when I'm done with this stuff. But to accept that I had so much going on, put so much pressure on myself with pandemic and all of that I couldn't let it go. I thought I had to keep doing this. A lot of business partners going in there, taking the mold and taking this juice and going over there. And I had to say goodbye, because now they don't, that's all they got. They want to come back in here. No, you. Done. Can't. Sorry, excuse me. Not sorry, but off.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And no more pressure. It's cool now. Like, I feel good. A great camp. You know, UFC 296 this weekend. It's been an eye-opener for me, because if my wife didn't send me the text, says, I don't see you smiling in practice anymore. I don't see, and it wasn't like, are you sure you want to do this? No, or she knows me. I don't see you smiling in practice anymore. You're not smiling as much as you would at home. You're not smiling when you're fighting. Doesn't seem like you're enjoying this. If you would have told me, I probably would have been like, F off, or like, no, wait, no, I'm doing this, you know, this, and just having just whatever I would have in that saying. No, sitting here trying to cipher a text, and I end up deleting it because I'm like, damn it, like, you're right. Crazy. And that meant a lot more to me, because I couldn't say anything back. So I went and did it. started asking for help, started getting out of my own comfort zone, mind you. And I haven't done that since Grand Valley State Wrestling. And that's taking a chance and going helping somebody that needed some help, and that gave me a scholarship.
What does it feel like to have all these people saying that you are washed up in your own words that you just said? What does it feel like?
They must be new around here. That's how it feels. I'm not gonna say hold up, brothers, but they're new. They don't understand my background, and I had to understand my own, where I come from and what I've been through and the experiences that I have, to not even give a about anybody. I blocked so many people. I've had so many death threats from the Russians and everything with Khabib. Yeah, like I had to learn Russian to curse at them in their own language. And what ended up happening was I made a lot more supporters from around the world by keep showing up, keep doing this, and then having a joke about it. Teasing Khabib and Connor, calling them the same name for years. The Tiramisu Tuesdays and McNugget Mondays are just there. They're never going away.
Are you over not getting the Khabib fight, or is that something you just don't think you'll ever get over?
He's still my bitch. That is. I scared the out of that Dagestani guy. Nothing against everybody else in the country. Just met a dude over here today. Took a picture. But I scared the death out of him. I'm not saying it's a war between our religions and everything like that, but I got that guy's number, and he knows that he loses, he can't go back home.
Is there any feeling going into this fight where it's like, I would just think from the outside, it's like, this kid doesn't even deserve to be here. Like, he has no idea. Like, the things
Patty?
I've gone through, and then you think about what he's done.
Patty?
Yeah, is there that feeling going into this?
You know what? I'm still a chef, and I call him patty cakes. So this patty cake baker's motherfucker, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, there's no being nice. With the Landon fight, I tried to be nice, and he dotted me, and I got pissed. I had to put him away. Like, you little bastard. Like, cool. Hey, Landon. But no, not with this dude. This is America, motherfucker. You're gonna come into my country and you're gonna try to be laughing against me and try to put me down? I don't think so. I'm a tough motherfucker. Exactly. I love the Star Spangled Banner, dude. Like, you have no idea. Like, America the Beautiful and all these songs that I have learned in school, saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Like, these Stars and Stripes, and dude, they mean so much more to me than anybody else. Not for any other reason besides myself, because before every competition, baseball, football, basketball, wrestling, like soccer, like all these sports I've played, it was always before then. And I remember at TFA over in Long Beach when we had a fight, they actually played it, and I was like, yeah, I have my Grand Valley sweatshirt on, and I hadn't heard that in so long, and it brought back something in me, which was cool. And at Vegas Strong, when that happened, when I won the belt, I played it then, and it was I just love that thing, and it means a whole bunch to me, dude. Military, I've been something else, so it's just different.
Should ask the UFC if they'll play it before your walkout.
That doesn't even matter, man. I'm gonna be real. Like, I have it in my head, I have it in my heart, and this motherfucker is gonna be falling apart right in front of me.
I mean, speaking of military, obviously the David Goggins thing, the internet took notice of that. Can you talk about how that came together?
It was very cool. Good friend of mine. It's pretty awesome. It was the hardest shit I've ever been through. It was exactly what I need. Everything else is classified. But I'm gonna be real, it was the coolest experience. He's right here, which is cool as and it lead off because it didn't just start with Chief. It started with one of my trainers too, and even beforehand it started with my friend Cisco, and even beforehand it started with my wife, asking for help. And it just kept on volleying. It kept on going. That ball never dropped. And with that training and being over there and showing up, I felt like I showed up at my father's doorstep again. And it's a funny thing, like, just a backpack, not knowing what the I was gonna do, and just kind of just showed up and be like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes coach, yes sir, and not asking any questions besides what's for breakfast. No, like, kind of, because I knew I had to know what I was gonna eat because it was gonna throw up. It was like, what are you eating, sir? I would look at him like, breakfast, that might be able to keep that down. And that was the most question I had, was just wondering how I was gonna keep food down. Nothing else, and just showing up and making sure that I knew. And it was an honor. It was cool as and as soon as it got done, I drove my ass off because I heard that my kid was going to have the closing ceremony for football. So it's just been icing on top of icing on top of icing on top of fucking just, it's been amazing. But I had to make that choice. Do I want to fucking sit here and mope and try to take another loss because I'm accepting whatever is coming my way? Or am I going to fucking work my ass off, carry my own cross, let everybody else carry theirs, and do my own thing, and then work and earn it? Like, it's been awesome. Like, you know, Goggins has been a big important in my life. Like, it's been cool to be able to, no kissing ass, no nothing. It's all about respect.
So when he says he put you through a hell week, is that like a military hell week, as like as we know it with the Navy SEAL stuff?
It was not easy. It was not easy, I'm gonna tell you. Took everything I had and then some. But what it did was it brought a whole new animal out of me. It brought me back to me, which is what it is. And like I said, I didn't ask any questions. I knew I needed it. You know, I'm very fortunate because I was gonna ask him for help, but we kind of had the same vibe. We knew what what needed to happen, and we made it happen. And we're here this weekend at UFC 296 in Las Vegas. We're fighting at the T-Mobile Arena. Here's a plug. And motherfuckers, get your tickets because there's gonna be fireworks.
What did you think about the reactions to it? People's reactions to you going through that?
I was cool as I didn't. I'm telling you, like I've been so focused on Patty, like hitting pad work, going to strength and conditioning, you know, coming home happy. Cause I'm not training people to train me. That's always been the craziest thing because I had all this energy, but I had to be nice to people, overly nice, open boundaries and doing business and going to school and wanting to be a doctor and all these dreams and hopes. And I had to kind of get trained again at a very, very, very high level. And I'm not done yet. I have a goal, which I want to accomplish. I have to say it too loud, but it's going to take this fight first. And once I get through this, then we'll see.
What happens if this fight doesn't go the way you want?
It's going to go the way I want. I already visualized it. I trained my ass off for it. I don't see this kid beating me. He's worried about me blocking him on Instagram. Sensitive little bastards. Wait till you get cut and you start to see your own blood. You're going to run out of that cage back to mommy.
When you said earlier, am I going to like fight back? Am I going to go through this Goggins thing? Am I going to train like I need to, or am I going to accept it? At any point over the last 6 losses, did you feel like you were accepting the defeat?
No, it's just taking fights so that way I can get Khabib to come back. And we almost coached against each other. So he took the bait. But something happened to him, so something different where he didn't even go coach Islam. So it took a lot for him to not want to be able to show up. Interesting, but like I said, I know in front and back I have a full dossier on this dude and hunting him down. I told him, I'm a hitman. You're only gonna make it out of the cage.
Last thing for me is what are we going to see? What are we going to see? I mean, you had so much success, and then obviously you've had a hard road the last couple of years. Like, what are we going to see in the octagon with you and Paddy Pimblett?
I'm gonna hurt this kid. I'm gonna hurt him bad. I don't have anything against him, but damn it, he's in my way. And I don't have too much to say about him, I'm gonna be real. He's an opponent. I'm gonna turn his head red. Pretty much it.